Tom Kozlowski here with you on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com, joined by Andrew Williams as well. And joining us on the phone lines, he played for Syracuse University on the basketball team from 2005 to 2009. You can follow him now on Twitter at EDEVEN23, Eric Devendorf. And Eric, you still are, after all these years, known as one of the bad boys in the history of college basketball. Is that just a persona you had on the court, or is that kind of the lifestyle you embraced when you were younger?
Strictly on the court. I'm a passionate guy about when it comes to basketball. High intensity on the court. That's what I love to do. Off the court, totally different person. He laid back, a nice guy. I mean, people obviously get it mixed up when they don't know me and they just see me from TV on playing. But if you meet me, a totally different guy.
And I've met you before, and it rings true. You are definitely a nicer guy off the court. But when you're watching hoops now, whether it be pro or college, you kind of root for the guys on the court that are showing that emotion, flexing a little bit, pumping their chest. Do you root for those guys and say, hey, I remember that. That used to be how I used to play?
Most definitely. Those are the guys that I can relate to, the people that are passionate and loving about the game of basketball. Those are the people that, I can relate to most and that I'll most likely cheer for.
Eric Devendorf joins us on the phone lines here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com.
And Eric, you stuck around Cuse even after you came back, went to grad school. This year, there's a different buzz in the city. I mean, Syracuse has been lower in the polls before going into a season, but people are counting them out almost this year. How do you think this team's going to do?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can never count anybody out. I mean, we're 1-0, just like, every other college team. But, we're young, we're talented. I mean, obviously we have a lot more shooters this year. We've been shooting a lot of threes. So I think the only, maybe negative thing about that is if we're not hitting our shots, then it might be a long game. But that's when you need, Mike to come step in and start to create for others and himself, getting to attack the basket, getting to the free throw line. And, hopefully Trev can start to do that a little bit more. Open up the floor with his three-point shot, and then, doing that, being able to get by his guy and hopefully, create for himself and others as well. So if they can make shots and try to mix in a little bit of getting to the hoop and free throw line, I think we'll be all right.
Who's the most important guy on the team this year for you?
For me, it would have to be Mike. I mean, he's a senior. He's, for me, he's an NBA draft pick. He can play 1 through 3. He can defend, multiple positions. And I just think he's the most important guy on the team because for me, he can do the most. And, I think if he plays well, then, other guys will feed off that. And we got good freshmen. I really love Malachi. He can score the ball. And, Frank as well coming off the bench. He's a poised guy for his age. So, the two guys obviously you would look at would be Trev and Mike. But for me, if Mike can play well, I think the team does well.
Tom Kozlowski and Andrew Williams here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. And joining us on the phone lines, he played for Syracuse basketball from 2005 to 2009, Eric Devendorf. And Eric, you had an injury to your knee in your career. Dajuan Coleman coming back after a knee injury during his career. What type of advice would you offer Dajuan Coleman trying to get back accustomed to the college basketball flow of a game?
Just take your time. Obviously, he hasn't played, almost a year and a half, 2 years, and it's tough. His surgery was different from mine. I think his was more severe. Mine, was the ACL, and I know his was the bone on bone. I forget if it was microfracture or something, but I know he had to have cartilage repaired and all that. So, his is definitely a more difficult injury to come back from. But just take your time. I know Dajuan personally. He's a great kid and he's a hard worker. On the floor. So, I think he'll be fine. Just take his time. Boeheim's going to make sure, he eases him back in. But, he's another key part to the team. We're not very deep when it comes to big guys right now. So if he can come in, give us, 8 to 10 and then, 8 to 10 rebounds, I think that's a positive as well.
Eric, this summer you had a little reunion with a bunch of your old ball players with the Boeheim's Army. How fun was that?
Oh, man, it was. I tell everybody it was probably, the most fun I had playing basketball, since I left college. Overseas is such a grind, but being able to get back with those guys, who, are my real good friends, I think it was just, it was the most fun I had those couple of weeks. It was great.
I'm not going to lie. I tried to get that jersey, being a Syracuse fan, immediately. I don't think I've ever seen a jersey sell out so fast, the Syracuse one especially.
Man, I tell you what, just how the community embraced it, it was awesome. I was setting stuff up, and myself and Kevin Belby kind of took leadership of that role, and we did a lot of things. We did clinics for the Boys and Girls Club, and we talked with the kids there, and also did some autograph signings. Bringing back old guys like John Walsh and Pearl Washington, Lawrence Moten. So the community definitely supported 100%, and it was crazy how it kind of took hold and within the community and just the Syracuse community fan base throughout the country as well.
Eric Devendorf joining us on the phone lines here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. 2 questions for you, Eric, before we let you go. First, I'm sure the question you've got so many times the past few years, that shot in that classic game against Connecticut in the Big East tournament. Walk us through that. Walk us a little bit through the emotions. You hopping up on the scores table. Go through that great shot that did not count, but it's still going to be remembered in Syracuse basketball history.
Yeah, well, I mean, it ended up working out. We ended up getting the win. So, but it really just when it went in, it was no thoughts at all. Just I turned around, saw the table there, and I guess that's what I thought I should be doing at that moment. But it was kind of iconic moment for myself and I think for Syracuse basketball. So that's the first thing people say to me when they see me out in the community. So and I love it. Every time they ask me, I tell them the same thing. So it was a great moment.
Eric, you played in the greatest college basketball conference of all time. I don't care what people say. How much does it suck not to see the Big East anymore?
Man, it sucks big, man. Tell you the truth. No Big East tournament in Madison Square Garden. That was the best college basketball tournament, in the country by far every year. And for that not to be there anymore, it's a shame a little bit. Obviously, it was a football move too and a money move, but in the ACC right now is a great conference too. But like you said, it was nothing like the Big East. Like that was the greatest, like you said, the greatest conference in college basketball history. With going into my freshman year when we had the UConn and Louisville in Pittsburgh and all those teams, Cincinnati. I mean, it was every night you had a battle. So yeah, it's a shame though that it's not happening anymore.
Syracuse basketball takes on St. Bonaventure tonight, and we'll talk to hopefully this guy again in the future when it comes to those ACC matchups, the ACC tournament. Eric Devendorf. Eric, thank you so much for the time this afternoon. We'll talk again soon. Take care.
All right. I appreciate you guys having me.